So I got a question if I on how I EQ the bass. So a lot of questions like, do I put an EQ before a compressor or do I put an EQ after the compressor? All I can say is maybe the right question is, do I compress first or do I EQ first, right? Because for me it doesn't really matter where I put the EQ on the chain. I can put an EQ before the compressor. It would be nice EQing, and there's a compressor catching all of those spikes that you do while you're EQing. But also, I like putting an EQ after the compressor to just sort of do a little bit of correction on where I'm at so far. So usually I try to compress first before anything, because if you have a bass player like Louie Talan, does all of those nice riffs, and he's using a Sadowski bass that has really cool low end, and it was plugged in a Shelford, an Eve Shelford, and we did a little bit of tweaking there to make him feel good in the room. So eventually we came up with this sound, right? And what I really do most of the time is I compress first. I really use my favorite LA2A from Avid, and I really just make sure that my gain reduction is almost just 1 dB, just really softening all of those nice bass blows while he's playing. Just really, really gentle. And right away, if I check my peaks, I like my bass just peaking below minus 10 dB. So from there, I know that I'm safely somehow compressing the sound of the bass, and I know that my reduction is just really gentle. Then I always try putting an EQ at the very first of the chain, knowing, I'm not really doing so much in compressing that bass. So try to play around cleaning some low end. So right now I'm cutting like 36 hertz out of that bass, because it's a Sadowski bass and just really, really kaboomy. So cutting some of that stuff, maybe 1 dB boost um, of their 131 hertz, and another dB boost at the 4.8 kilohertz to bring some of that nice high mid detail, and cutting cutting around 9K up. So I just really don't deal all of that nice preamp fizz. So let's listen to it without and with it. So, a total of like a sort of 2 dB boost on certain frequencies and a cleanup of some other frequencies just centers that bass on where it should be. Now, I check the compressor if it's still doing a nice 1 dB reduction. Yeah, it's still okay. And let's try to listen without these things again. It gives me really just nice centered bass sound right there. And of course, you heard that nice lick from Louis. I want to bring that out a bit and bring out some of the grit and sizzle and sweetness in the bass. So I apply my favorite EQ from Avid. Okay, so as you can see, I'm still cutting around very, very sharp 24 dB octave on 38 hertz. I don't know why I do it, but I really like centering some sounds really tight, and a very, very abrupt 4.1, 4.51 cut above. Everything is just, all of that preamp sizzle is gone again. And I do a high shelf boost around 1.81, 1.85 kilohertz. The numbers really don't matter somehow. I just really do sweep till I hear stuff that I like coming out in the mix. Oops, forgive me that. Okay, let's listen to it without that EQ again. Right, the bass sounds there, but I feel like it's still a bit gummy, and I want to bring that nice detail of the riff out without really pretty much over sizzling the sound. Okay, so let's listen to this without. Sounds huge, sure, but it's not what I need for this mix. What I needed is to have that grit, sweet, bring back some of that low end. Let's see how it works on a mix. So that's just me, how I do it to make the bass pop out in the mix without really troubling the sound of the drums. Again, without these things. A little dip on the 300 area to just bring out of that foggy, muddy sound. And that's pretty much it. Very simple way to bring out the bass sound versus the drums. See ya.